Here with reaction is John Franklin, the mayor of Vista, California. John, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me, Riley.
Let's start with that clip we just saw. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, I'm embarrassed as a Californian to be represented by somebody who thinks that, modeling a lack of law and order is the right way. I mean, this is somebody who most Californians don't even recognize Senator Alex Padilla because he's been a do-nothing senator for 4 years. Not one of my neighbors could tell you what this man has done to make our state safer or to improve our lives economically. And frankly, we don't even recognize him on sight. So I'm not surprised that the security personnel protecting a cabinet secretary didn't recognize him. And upon storming in, not identifying himself, he was treated like any person who, they probably thought he was mentally deranged. I mean,
Sure.
The way he approached the podium, it was deranged.
Yeah, and look, I think the problem here for the White House is the optics of it, because it allowed him to play the victim card, and he leaned into that very heavy. So you see the liberal media going crazy right now.
And this is a great opportunity for us to stand up and praise law enforcement and say those law enforcement officers who took him down to the floor did exactly what they were there to do. They protected the principal. They enforced law and order in the place that they were at. And this is exactly what our ICE agents are doing. They are doing the job that they swore an oath to do. They've done it for Republican and Democrat presidents. They've enforced the exact same laws under the administrations. I spoke to senior ICE leaders here in San Diego to get a briefing on these matters. And I spoke to individuals who are career professionals with 20-plus year careers here enforcing the law. And they let me know that they are focused and have been ordered to focus on removal of criminal aliens. Pew Research Center just released a poll that says 97% of Americans, I mean, you never see this in survey research, where 97% of Americans agree. 97% want criminal aliens deported from our country.
Yes.
It's overwhelming, and that's why I continue to speak on the issue of supporting our law enforcement officers and supporting the deportation of those who, if they were released back into our community, would re-victimize our community, and not just all of our community, but specifically the immigrant communities that they're a part of would be hit hardest by those crimes.
Okay, that's interesting. I do want to pivot now to the riots in Los Angeles, what is known as the Sanctuary City. How you fight is just as important as why you fight. So even if you disagree with mass deportations, to see people waving foreign flags, physically attacking law enforcement, these aren't just protests, John. Not at all. These aren't just peaceful demonstrations. This is a full-front attack on the rule of law. So what are you thinking about it?
As soon as you pick a rock up, you become a criminal. You have no First Amendment right to throw rocks at the police.
Yes.
And we have to have law and order. It's ironic in the extreme. The situation we deal with today comes out of years of a lawless border. So we have 4 years of lawlessness at the border that foments a situation of people being here in a second class of existence, which is not right to begin with.
Sure.
If we had an orderly process for entry that was lawful, everybody would enjoy the same rights under the law. And instead of recognizing that we have a problem that we have to solve, now they're calling for more lawlessness, don't enforce the laws, and they want to use it as an opportunity to loot stores, break windows, and generally to have an anarchist orgy of hate. That's what this is.
Yes. It's interesting, too, because this is the party that for years ad nauseum was saying nobody is above the law, right? We all have to obey it, except for people who come here illegally. And I'm not saying everyone who does is necessarily a bad person, although there have been a lot of bad people that have exploited that. But still, why should every American citizen be expected to obey the rule of law when rioters can get away with this kind of nonsense that we're seeing now, and people can just waltz on into the country and start collecting benefits and free health care and free housing and free food? It doesn't make any sense to me, John.
And we know that if we allow these riots to get out of hand and we allow criminal behavior, violent criminal behavior to go unchecked, as part of these protests, then it will spread from city to city across our country, and it'll threaten people and communities all across our nation. That can't be tolerated. I commend the president for establishing law and order and saying you have an absolute First Amendment right to be present, to speak your mind, to hold a sign. But as soon as you start throwing a rock or a bottle, you're going to jail and you're going to be prosecuted.
Completely. A final question for you then on that thought. So Democrats right now, Karen Bass, Los Angeles mayor, Gavin Newsom, fighting extremely hard to protect illegal immigrants. They never fought that hard when you saw Americans be victimized by illegals. Laken Riley, Jocelyn Nungarai,
Absolutely right.
Rachel Morin. What does that tell you about people like them?
You know, Newsom and Bass are grandstanders. They're picking examples to make issue of, and they're out there for political gain. Obviously, we see Newsom is running for president, and we all know he's not going to get there. Even his own party doesn't want him. But no, you're absolutely right. Standing up for the murder victims, the rape victims, these are realities, and this is what we're talking about. They want to make it about. They claim it's about going into schools and churches. That's not what's being done. We're going after, the federal law enforcement agents are going after people that they have a lawful warrant, okay? No one can be arrested in this country without a lawful warrant. Let's lay that out from the outset. So every one of these people that's being detained, there is a lawful warrant for their arrest, all right? And what I'm being told by the career non-political ICE officers is that these are individuals who have committed crimes or been convicted of crimes subsequent to illegal entry. These are individuals that the 97% of Americans agree need to go. And so we need to stand behind our law enforcement officers, our local police, and our federal police and say they swore an oath to the Constitution to uphold the laws, whether they personally agree or don't, from one administration to another. And I salute them. I saw the disheartened look in their eyes in the last administration when they didn't agree with the commander-in-chief, but they saluted as law enforcement officials, and they executed the orders to enforce our laws under administrations liberal and conservative, and they deserve our full and complete support.
Very well said. Excellent point to end on, sir. So thank you for being here.
Thanks, Riley.